So the NDP now has a leadership race coming up. They have to get a new leader. And my prediction has always been that it'll come down to either a tree with a face painted on it or a photograph of a cloud that looks vaguely like Greta Thunberg. But maybe not. Maybe it'll be somebody else. Brian Lilly posted this. He said, Avi Lewis is likely the NDP frontrunner. The others are beyond the mainstream, but he might be too. What do you think of his idea of the government running a grocery store? That's a terrible idea. It makes me think of bread lines, poor service, and little choice. You? Well, that's exactly what happened. I mean, I know Bernie said, bread lines are a good thing, because there's bread. Yeah, there's bread right now. Let's see. So here is Avi Lewis. So NDP, far left as possible. I think they're pretty much just a communist party at this point. I think he's a communist. Anytime you want government-run grocery stores, yeah, that's just communism. So let's hear what he has to say about it. Of course, he's totally uninformed, but let's take a look.
You have been good about putting out some policy. I want to ask you about your policy, and this is about grocery stores. You want to do a wealth tax. You want to do a cap on rent increases. People really like hearing that. Talk to me about your
that's really going to get the Canadian economy humming. All right.
Plan for grocers, this option that you want to put
Well, listen, this is a fantastically popular policy that I think we can win with. Canadians want to see when you have market failure, like you have these big corporations that dominate every sector. It's the same with the food system, right? 3 big grocery chains, and we know that they price fix and price gouge. We need a public...
No, we don't. We don't know that. That's just not true. This is just a lie they keep telling. Let me pull something up. Hold on a second. Well, we can just look at the AI overview here. Margins for Canadian grocery stores are typically low, generally between 1% and 4% for net profit, with a large portion of sales going to manufacturers, wages, and operations. While net profit margins are low, some individual retailers have reported higher gross margins, which is the difference between revenue and cost of goods sold, blah, blah, blah. All right. So typically low, generally between 1% and 4%. So if it's 1%, that's if you get rid of the profit, that's 1 cent on a dollar. So if it's 4%, which is a good year for a grocery chain, a good year, 4%. So that's 4 cents on the dollar. Keep in mind, when they have a good year, they have to hold some of that because the next year may not be good. There's a reason why they sign contracts for food well in advance, 6 months, a year in advance, or even longer, because the margins are so low, they're constantly trying to get the best prices. There is no room for price gouging between 1% and 4%. Everything he's saying is just a lie. You wonder, does he know anything? Does he know of what he speaks? Probably not. These are all just articles of faith for these people, for these commies, right? They're not interested in interrogating any of the ideas because their ideas are insane. And if they did, they would find out that they're wrong. But they can't be wrong because it feels right. It just feels so right to talk about price gouging and blaming everything on capitalism. Right? So best just not know. Then you don't have to worry about it. No, none of that cognitive dissonance or anything. None of that you have to worry about. You can just say bullshit and stupid people will believe you.
Option.
You want a public grocery store for people to access.
The federal government has the capacity to, at the federal level, with federal money and a national reach, actually negotiate with the distributors of food and actually provide retail, maybe owned by municipalities, to actually provide nonprofit food to people because people cannot get by when they're paying $300 for a cart of groceries, just like when the market fails.
Well, there you go. The government can do it cheaper because they always do everything cheaper, right? Let's see here. Here's the last leader of the NDP with his friends that he met in the dog park. So, but apparently Mark Carney also knows him. That's the same guy. Maybe they all met at the same dog park. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.